You don't have a software, tool, or subscription problem. You have a communication problem. Some of you are paying hundreds of dollars a month for tools that don't talk to each other. This creates what is called a ghost in the machine, an invisible clog that prevents data from working on your behalf. When your software doesn't communicate, you become the integration, the plug, if you will. You are effectively paying to be a data entry clerk in your own business. Join me for an elite workshop, The Ghost in the Machine. No, this is not a software demo. This is an architectural strategy session. We're going to whiteboard your entire tech stack, from lead capture to fulfillment, and expose exactly where your system is dying. Don't have a tech stack or know what that is? If you're in business for yourself in 2026, you need to. So I know I'll see you there. Together, we'll identify the manual tasks clogging your system and replace them with silent solutions. You don't need more apps, you need architecture. Click the link to secure your briefing. It's time to connect the dots. I've worked too hard to stop now. But it seems like every time I turn around, it's somebody hating. I need to ride. Yo, yeah.
Rest in peace,
Yo, man, this one goes out to everybody out there getting it on there.
and every other soul.
However you getting paid, however you paying your bills, hopefully it's legit. You know what I'm saying? But even if it ain't, do the best you can, you know what I'm saying? And get it on your own. Yeah, West Coast, slow motion. Waking up the morning views of the ocean, freshen up your swag, roll up your neck back, 40 on your hip, dip to the west side. Between the trees and the breeze is where you reside. You let the 6-4 dip slow, side to side. The good life, no longer stressing on that hood stripe. Your kids best, you can't flex, you're doing all right. On top of that, today you rhyme with your lady. Yep, that's your baby, play with her, they must be crazy. Had the hood going crazy when them shop doors open. Time cuts in the city, that's what you been promoting. Because it's clear to see that every real G is positive to the community. Productivity, that's the slogan. Pushing back on the force is trying to stop us from growing. They can't hold you back. When the door of opportunity opens up for you like a Cadillac, you ain't having that. You came too far to try and travel back. And plus that's way too whack. So when the plans stay rolling and the dope keep folding while your life unfolding, then you plans go. Never mind the haters can't make or break you. Where a hustle take you when your faith oversake you. Yeah, it feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS a rare when life ends. You stone. It feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you walking on your own and turn BS a rare when life ends. You stone. But don't expect it to be easy breezy. Besides being cheesy, it's slightly greasy like an Eskimo trying to sell your bro that don't love the pole. His ass still ain't free. The truth is you take the good with the bad. If it's worth it, then on purpose, it ain't easy to be had. But don't let it stop you, cause unless they pop you, then you gotta know the wind's already in the back. It takes thick skin to walk amongst men that don't comprehend the grind that you're living in. Unfortunately, it usually proves to be negativity from friends and your family. But when you focus, you can't get caught slipping. You cool ranch while you living. Fly with eagle, not chickens, and you bound to see between you and me that there's no enemies. And yes, success is proof. Me, I'm still noodle flowing in the booth. If you need more proof, go and check me mirror, cause it couldn't be clearer that you're bound for the top. So stay on your grind and don't you dare ever stop it with roadblocks. Act like mad cops, that only means you're just a mirror, homie, just watch. Ain't no need to be silent when you're made of iron. And for winners like you, there's no such thing as trying. It feels good when you're getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS a rare when life gives you stones. It feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS a rare when life gives you stones. And there you have it. You know what I'm saying? This goes out to everybody out there getting it on their own. Like I said,
You over there,
feel me?
the fade.
All the barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, massage parlors, dentist office,
You feel me?
soul food restaurants, whatever you do, man. You work for yourself. It's your anthem right here, man. It's my salute to you.
I see you
Get
keep
it on your own. And if you employ other people, you're a real life hero. You know what I'm saying? Salute. Yeah. Keep getting it on your own.
Omni.
Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Didn't I tell you that was gonna happen? Y'all give me one quick second. I was waiting on a phone call.
Caught a vibe from across the way. Yeah, it's just another summer day. Caught a vibe from across the way.
My apologies, everyone. Y'all know how it is. Another day, another dollar. What's going on, YouTube land? I hope everybody likes the new layout of the show. But just in case you don't know, it is he is I. It is your brother from another mother, the one and only Mr. Legit Hustle, everybody. And we back, man. This is the SMB Podcast, specifically for small to medium businesses. And we're going to talk about some real business things today. Some of you may be familiar with my Legit Motivation, podcast, and the different slideshow presentations that I use. If it's your first time tuning in, by all means, most definitely make sure that you subscribe and that you come back and that you come check us out. Once again, got a lot of good things going on this side of YouTube. If you're serious about your business, if you're serious about your hustle, this is Legit Hustle, man. This is where it goes down at. This is for the hustlers, the entrepreneurs, serious business people, man, the people who are serious about what they do. So the SMB Podcast is for you guys. It's a little different from the Legit Motivation Show, where it's more about just inspiring and motivating people, regardless of even if they, may not work for themselves and whatnot. But on this podcast, we talk about business and business principles specifically. Today, we're going to be talking about the one-person company. All right. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you're familiar with the one-person company, or what some people call being a solopreneur. Maybe you're familiar with that business model. So maybe this presentation won't be totally new to you, but regardless of how comfortable you are with this particular business model, there's going to be something here for you to gain, and something for you to look at ways that you can improve your hustle and improve your business. You can improve whatever it is that you're doing to get money on your own, right? Which is why I started the show off with my song, On Your Own, because that's what this is about, right? So we're going to be talking about one-person companies and why leverage has replaced headcount, and what exactly do we mean by leverage, and what exactly do we mean when we say head count? What specifically are we referring to? Before we get started, I do want to take a second to remind everyone of the various events that I have going on from time to time. I do have one coming up here shortly. That should be the Chaos Audit, I believe. It's the one coming up next week. So these are group workshops. I don't charge them at the time. So you can pull up, and what we do in the group workshops is we actually come up with action plans and strategies for you to actually use in your business. So it's not just a presentation. It's not really a sales pitch for anything in particular. It's more so just to help you work through the different challenges, struggles, what we call bottlenecks in my business as a web developer, in your workflows, your processes, whatever it may be going on, help you get more organized and save you some time and energy. So if you want to check that event out, be sure to check out events.emayasolutions.net, and you can find out more information about the chaos audit and the Ghost in the Machine workshop that I have going on this month. All right. So without further ado, man, y'all know how we do. That's a little more fluff and a little more talking than I normally like to do. I normally like to just get into it, man, and get this thing moving. So let's go and do that. All right. So talking about one-person companies. Modern business has gone a structural transformation, right? Business has changed. Now we know that business has changed. We hear people talk about how much businesses have changed. But you know what doesn't change? People. People don't change. The people that start and grow businesses are the same types of individuals now, excuse me, that they have always been. The people who buy your product or service are individuals. They are people, just like they have always been. So when it comes to business, when we say that business has changed, it's not that people have changed. People didn't evolve and become a new species. But if you look at the news nowadays, it looks like some people have devolved, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about those of us who have positive, productive things going on in our lives, right? So when we say that business has changed, we're not talking about the people. We're talking about the structure of business, right? What a business looks like has changed. Typically, we refer to these things as models, right? So the business model in 2026 is quite different than it was in 1926, even though people are essentially the same. People still buy shoes, people buy automobiles, people buy food, people buy houses. People have not changed, but business has. So what are some of the ways that this transformation has changed business on the structural level? Well, on the first slide, it had the word leverage. And the greatest leverage in today's business world comes from digital leverage, the softwares that we use, the tools that we have access to, the way it is able to multiply and extend our individual capability, right? So that's digital leverage. This means that what we're able to output, what we're able to produce is not tied to the number of employees, the head count. So back on the first slide, when it said leverage over head count, this is what we mean. Today's business models, growth and scaling is not about how many people you can hire. And it's not really even about how many tools and platforms and subscriptions you use. Scaling is how well you leverage whatever digital tools you're using. It may just be one. You may only be creating content on YouTube. You may only be live streaming on TikTok or whatever the case may be. You may not have a lot of other tools that you use behind the scenes for business purposes. But regardless of how many tools you use, if you're using any type of digital tool, social media, any type of advertising, marketing, any of these platforms, then you are able to leverage your capabilities digitally. Again, we're simply talking about the ability to extend what you're capable of doing, the ability to multiply what you are capable of doing, right? So that's the leverage we're talking about. We're talking about digital leverage when we say the structural transformation. Another one is automation. Things are automation driven. A lot of tasks, a lot of functions in business now are driven by automation. They're driven by AI. Some people like it, some people love it, some people hate it. But regardless of how you feel about it, the tech is not going away, right? It's not going to go backwards. It's not going to go away, and it's not going to be here tomorrow. So with that being said, you can fight the tide or you can swim with the tide. With the current. And at times in business, you may be like me. I was having a conversation with my lady the other day, and I was telling her how, at this point in my life, I'm really starting to understand how sometimes you do have to swim upstream. You are supposed to go against the grain. You are supposed to go against the current. But there are times as a business owner, as a hustler, as an entrepreneur, when that's not what you're supposed to do. What you're actually supposed to do is go with the flow, go in the direction that the energy is moving you. Go in the direction that the business is growing, right? So there are times when you swim against the stream, when you swim upstream, and there are times when you need to go with the flow. When it comes to AI and automation, there are things that we do need to be concerned about, but trying to swim upstream against the technology right now is a losing battle. I'm just telling you, it's not going to go backwards, right? So the best thing that you and I can do as small business owners is learn how to use these things properly, learn how to use them ethically and morally, right? But don't think that you're going to be in business much longer in the 21st century and you're not using any of these tools or capabilities in your business. It's not going to happen. You're going to get outpaced. Why? Automation allows AI and different automated sequences to handle the execution of work that maybe used to take you manually doing it, or maybe you had to have someone on your team actually sit down and perform that task or do that work. Automation allows you to automatically execute and handle certain tasks, right? Can't automate necessarily everything that you do in your business, and you probably shouldn't want to anyway. But there are things in every one of our businesses that you can automate, and it will save you. It will save you time. It will save you energy. Some of them may make you more money, or some of them just may allow you to sustain where you are right now, business and financial wise, without having to extend yourself. So you're saving on energy, right? So these tools allow us to expand and multiply and function in a greater capacity than just how much it can sell for you. People know about chatbots. People know about automated responses and all those things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more specifically about the functions in your business that take a lot of time out of your day. I'm talking about the activities in your business, in your day-to-day business functions that may use up a lot of energy, be it yours or someone on your team or someone else's, right? So if you can reduce that human cost, that's a benefit whether you make more money or not. It's like if you make $100,000 a year, but you work 60 hours a week, who would complain about making $100,000 a year and only having to work 40 hours a week? Right? So it may not be that you necessarily can use these things to necessarily make more money or scale your business. That may not even be what you're interested in. Maybe you just want to make the same amount of money and work a little less harder in order to do it. And this is what has led to the structural transformation of businesses. All these things, also these two, the leverage and the automation, they kind of combine in a unique way because the third thing in the presentation says declining costs. And it does. Whether it be from the pay that you have to pay a person to do it, maybe you can automate something that you used to have to contract out to a 1099 contractor or something like that. Now you can automate that process. That's an expense that your business no longer has. Also, the technology develops at such a pace that newer technologies, when they come out, even if they start out expensive, they don't stay expensive very long, right? The rapid development of these tools and technology drives down the cost of the tools that we use and of the expenses that we incur in our business, right? So it helps bring down the cost. So essentially, what I'm saying is the one-person company, it isn't an experimental thing anymore. It is It may have already become the dominant business model, but if it hasn't, it's quickly headed there. You may or may not have heard of something called an exponential organization, right? And if you're not familiar with exponential organizations, just Google it, exponential organizations, right? What an exponential organization is a company that's able to scale exponentially, not just linearly, not just because they sell more of a product or they perform more services. The tools allow you to scale exponentially, quicker, larger, and faster. That's what an exponential organization is about. The technology has led to that term in itself, an exponential organization. But for those of you who are familiar with exponential organizations already, what I'm about to say isn't going to be much of a shock to you, right? But right now, because of exponential organizations, you can run a $1 billion or even maybe even a multi-billion-dollar company with 2 or 3 people. Where in the past, in order for a company to generate that type of revenue for itself, you would have had to have an entire staff, HR department, group health insurance. You would have had a whole lot, maybe a couple manufacturing plants, distribution, right? It would be a lot in those older business models to think that you could generate enough revenue or build a company that's valuable enough to be valued in the billions with just yourself or 2 or 3 people. But that's what exponential organizations are about. And that's what the current technology allows you to do. It allows you to expand, scale, and grow your company without necessarily having to work a whole lot harder, if any harder. You may actually be working less, to be honest with you. Sometimes, because of the very nature of my business, since I have gotten more active in content creation, so much of my business systems at this point are automated and things are happening behind the scenes that I don't have to, be at my desk to do all the time anymore, that sometimes I find myself having to find out what to do with my time, especially since I'm very, very new to content creation, right? The channel's a couple years old, but I really didn't take making content seriously until last summer, right? And I'm still just now really getting comfortable with the idea of being a content creator. So that wasn't really my intentions. But because of the processes and the tools that I use, so much of my input isn't needed that now I can focus on other things. So I was like, well, shoot, I said I was going to take the channel more seriously. I might as well start producing more content, doing more live streams, right? So that's what I started doing because I didn't have to manually do so much. And it's a little bit of I don't know what the word is, but I was thinking a culture shock, but it's not really a culture shock, but it's a little bit of a shock to your mindset, right? When you're used to what we're going to talk about in this presentation, which is a hustle mentality, just hustle culture, where everything comes from your hustle. Everything comes from your hard work. Everything comes from your grind. It comes from your effort. But these tools actually allow you to create a situation where that's no longer the case, right? Like your output doesn't necessarily reflect the amount of input that you put in yourself, right? It's really kind of a different kind of thing, just being honest with you. Like I said, when you first start really getting into automation and building out systems for your business, sometimes it's going to challenge you in ways that you may not be prepared for. And that's one of the ways that I found myself being challenging. But that's because I come from an era where it was hustle culture. It was about how much work could you put in, how much time could you do, how hard could you go each day, how many sales presentations could you do every day. Now it's changed a little bit. And this particular business model allows you to really take advantage of the ability to generate and earn a heck of a lot more without even having to do usually a whole lot more work, like I said, if any, right? And that's coming from somebody who not only uses these systems, but builds these systems for other people. So it's really amazing what you can do with it. So this is the end of having headcount as a competitive advantage. Why is that important for most of us? If you're FBA, if you're a Black American, you especially know what I'm about to refer to. And that's that for most of us, access to funding isn't readily available, right? You can do some research on what the statistics are and what they break down to. But funding isn't as easy for some of us to get access to as it is for others. Well, in the previous economies and the way businesses have traditionally worked, that lack of funding meant we couldn't possibly grow our businesses to the scale of some of our quote unquote competitors, right? Because we didn't have access to the resources. We had to hire staff. You had to have a team. You had to have this in place. You had to have big, expensive assets. But now, because of the tools and the capabilities, this is where the leverage comes in. Now it's no longer about how big of a team you have, how big of a staff you have. Most small business, one of the metrics that people have traditionally determined what category of business fell into, right? Whether it was a small business or enterprise level business. One of the metrics traditionally has been the number of employees that it has, right? If you had under 500 employees, you were typically considered a medium business. What it was like 100 to 500 or something like that, whatever the numbers were. And then that company with 500 employees, whether they be W-2 or 1099, whatever, that company with 500 employees, yes, them generating $1 billion in revenue in the old economy, in the old models of business that we have used. Yes, you needed 500 people. You needed a big staff. You needed a big, huge office building. You needed that. Not anymore, though. Now, what those 500 people could generate for a company, you can do with 1 or 2 people. And I'm not just talking about using those corny AI agents that call you, because I don't answer them either. So I'm not even talking about those. There are so many options out here that some of the things that you would actually need to do to benefit your business, it may not even be things that you thought about. If you've seen some of my other presentations, I think it was the one on data and lists. And I talked a lot in that presentation about redundancy. How if you're in business for yourself, odds are there are things that you're doing that are very redundant and you probably don't even realize because you're so used to doing this task. Or maybe you do this and then employee A does this and employee B does that. But you don't realize that there's an overlap there and there's redundancy in certain routines, right? And it's always very interesting when you go to mapping out people's business processes and their workflows, you always find things that are redundant. So redundancy being reduced, the number of people reduces the number of possible errors in your systems and your workflows. Those two things right there have totally leveled the playing field for us as small businesses. Now you can be a solopreneur and have $1 billion company. To get $1 billion valuation nowadays, especially with tech companies, is not as, I'm not going to say it's easy or it's hard, but it's a pretty straightforward process, right? And if you don't know about getting company valuation and things like that, we'll get into that kind of stuff more specifically on the channel at a later time, right? But right now, We're talking about the advantages that the technology gives you. Eliminating the need for huge staffs and a bunch of employees and contractors and HR and all that stuff. That's a competitive advantage, right? Having software and tools that can replicate and do the work of entire departments at your disposal, at your fingertips, as opposed to having to hire a staff, right? So that advantage that really big companies used to have over us has been eliminated because of these tools. And we can totally capitalize on that and take advantage of it. And that's what Legit Hustle is about. That's what I'm here to do, is help you see how you can capitalize on the different tools and technology that is out there and available for all of us to have access to, right? So let's look a little bit more at this change when it comes to headcount. And one thing when I was preparing this outline, I want to be sure that I kind of drilled home a point. And that's, there's a lot of fear mongering and a lot of concern and speculation. This AI is taking jobs and it's replacing people. I'm not going to say that that's not happening, but that's not the whole story. That's only one small aspect of the story. The real story is that, yes, it is eliminating jobs, but it's also creating entire new fields. Prompt engineering did not exist 20 years ago. There was no field known as prompt engineering, right? Now, if you're into creating content, AI can allow you to run an entire content creation business. You can create content for people far more quickly than you can for yourself. Than they can on their own. If they had to manually do it, it has created opportunities that did not exist as well. More important than the jobs that people think AI is replacing or that it may be actually replacing, more important than that is how do you position yourself? How do you position yourself in that economy, in that climate? Right? What are you going to do to try to make sure and ensure that you are in fact capitalizing and taking advantage on as much of these opportunities as you possibly can? And I'm not really sure. All right. I don't know. I just got a warning about buffering, so I hope it's playing smooth for you guys. Okay, so with that being said, again, let's look a little bit deeper at this actual competitive advantage that I'm talking about. So what actually changed? Well, as I said, the software and the AI, they now handle tasks that once had to be handled by a staff, aka your head count, right? And then because you have a staff and you have different departments, you have to coordinate between those departments. So the technology has also allowed the cost of coordinating with different departments, team members, to drop dramatically because of the ability to automate your workflows, right? Speed, agility have replaced, this says bureaucratic, but I'll just say micromanaging. Small little decisions that maybe you used to have to make on a day-to-day basis in your business can now be done automatically. You'll be amazed at how many small decisions that you make every day that when you automate those things, like I said before, you find yourself at points during the day thinking, dang, what am I supposed to be doing? Because previously you would have been doing all these other things, or maybe you would have had all these other tasks to perform, but now they're being handled for you and you're just looking out for notifications on your phone for a hiccup or a problem or something, right? It gets so much more simplified. So that speed and agility on and implement things extremely quickly. And in some instances, because we are small businesses and you may be self-employed, because of that, sometimes it actually gives us an advantage over much larger companies. When you face economic challenges and you got to deal with circumstances and things that are just totally outside of your control, the ability to pivot, the ability to change direction quickly, the ability to have accurate information and to make wise and insightful decisions quickly is an advantage. But when you're small, you can pivot your whole company much quicker than a much larger corporation can, right? So these tools actually help us to be much more agile than much bigger corporations, which in a world like we live in, when you don't know what these foods gonna do from one day to the other one, that ability in itself is a huge advantage. So this leads to one skilled operator being now able to orchestrate what required a whole team to be able to do. One person. Now you don't need a whole marketing department. You just need one person who knows how to handle the marketing, right? You don't need a whole sales team. You just need a person who knows how to run a sales department, right? So this is the advantage, the shift that we're talking about from the different tools that are available, from the different ways that we can combine these tools, the unique scenarios that we can use them in, the speed with which we can not only integrate tools, but that we can actually produce products and services with. It's so much faster now. You don't need a whole writing department. You might just need a couple AIs. You can set up an AI-based writing team. If you do a lot of content production or you do a lot of writing, maybe for a blog, or maybe you produce some kind of journal, whatever the case may be. It just takes one person now. You don't need a whole team. What used to take a team, now you can do with essentially just one skilled person. And the data proves it. So here's some data. 60 to 70% of the tasks that you have to do every day in a business can be automated, can be handled by AI. Think about that. 60 to 70% of what you do in your business most likely can be automated. Some of you may know, if you've been around my channel, if you've seen some other content, I come from the barber and beauty industry, right? I started cutting hair when I was 14 back in the day. Even as a barber, a hairstylist, a massage therapist, a nail technician, the type of service that it takes a human to provide, that is still true. Because when you think about it, how much of your time goes into managing your clients? How much time goes into growing and promoting your business? How much time and energy goes into managing inventory? If you're big into retail, which you should be in that industry, right? So even if you're in a really, really personal industry, something as personal as beauty or massage therapy, those numbers still hold true pretty much. 60 to 70% of almost every business, AI can help you in some area or fully automate that task or process for you. That gives you a huge productivity advantage, 2.5 times. Why? Because you're saving so much time and energy doing the repetitive things. You eliminate those, now you can focus on the things that actually make you money. Going back to hair care as an example. As a barber or hairstylist, massage therapist, nail technician, some really personal service, a dentist or something like that, you only generate revenue when you perform that service. And there isn't an AI or a robot to perform that service, right? And even if there was, I know my people ain't going to no AI barbers and hairstylists. But you only really make money when you're performing those services or selling the retail products, right? But without managing your business, without promoting it to grow your clientele, without those type of activities of managing your day, managing your schedule, all of these things, managing your client list, without all of those things, you're not going to have very many people to perform services on. But when you can eliminate those things that are absolutely necessary to your business, when you can eliminate those things and still perform the services, now you have more free time to perform even more of the services. And if you don't want to do more, you ain't got to burn yourself out working so hard. Right? So regardless of the nature of your business is the point I'm trying to make. I know some people think that, well, you know, I do mobile detailing. They ain't really know what. Yes, it is. I promise you it is. Right? And why is this important? The last thing I think on you guys is in on YouTube. I'm probably in the way, but it says rising labor cost pressure. Now that's specific, but it doesn't stop at labor cost. Everything is getting more expensive. Inflation is real, and it impacts every single one of us. We do not know what the economy is going to look like a year from now, 6 months from now. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That might totally derail things or send everybody into a tailspin for a minute, so to speak, right? Those things can happen at any time. But as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a hustler, because remember this legit hustle, and that's who we talking to over here. As a hustler, as an entrepreneur, you got to be ready and in position to pivot, to move, to adapt, to be as or be like water, as the saying goes, right? I'm not sure if it was Bruce Lee who said it. I just know I've heard it, and I've heard it said that it was Bruce Lee that said it, but that was that we must be like water. Why is that? You can take water, put it in a pond. You can walk up to that pond and take the biggest oar you can find and just start smacking the shit out the water, right? You can hit the water hard as you can. Is the water gonna leave? Are you gonna hit the water so hard that it doesn't just simply come back and go back to the state of being that it was in before you hit it? Nope. The only thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna tire yourself out trying to beat the water. But you can take that same water and put it in a cup, and it's gonna take the shape of that cup or that glass or that bowl or whatever you put it in. So water is extremely strong. Water is extremely resilient. You can smack it, you can beat it. It's still going to return back to its normal state, but it's also flexible enough to adapt to whatever environment that you put the water in. For us, as business owners, as entrepreneurs and hustlers, we got to be like that water. These tools, knowing what's happening in business, knowing the trends that are happening, where's the business world going? What's coming from all of this? Being aware of that, especially in 2026, is extremely important. Again, none of the stuff that I'm talking about is really optional. I know it might seem optional. I know people think this is, you don't have an option. I promise you. I work as a web developer, which means I got to be somewhat plugged in what's going on in the tech world, what direction things are going, right? I promise you, man, if you don't adapt now, you're not going to have much longer to adapt. You just simply won't be in business. You won't be able to keep up with those of us who are integrating these tools. If you're a little bit curious about it, or even a little bit skeptical, what I would ask you to do is put that aside just a little bit, at least enough to do some real research about what the tech can do for you, not what it's doing with everybody else, What would it do for you in your business? Talk to someone, be it myself or someone else. Talk to someone who can tell you what it would literally do for your business. And then you'll know why I'm saying you don't really have a choice. Those people who do not adapt to the way business is being done in 2026, you won't be around much longer. Right? It's too much fluctuation in the economy. You got to be too adaptable. You got to be too able to pivot on very short notice in your business in today's modern business world. You got to be able to do it at the speed of technology. You got to be able to do it at the speed of light, the speed with that all these things sitting in front of me, blinding me half to death, move at. Your business has to be prepared to move at approximately that same rate. If you don't, you won't survive much longer in business. But for those of you all who do heed this advice, for those of you all who do actually take the time to find out what this technology can do for your business or how you can even use it to start another business, now is the time, and it's not much longer. You're not going to have much longer to still have the opportunity that you do right now because of the technology. It's adapt or die. And it's adapt time. And especially for my people, for FBA, hopefully y'all are in the building, y'all are the ones watching this too. For my people, you got to. You got to. If you intend to work for yourself, if you intend to be able to create opportunities for yourself now and into the future, you got to know about this stuff. You don't have to know how to code and program, but you do need to know how to use the codes and the programs that people are out here developing. What are the technological capabilities in your industry? How are people using modern tools in your industry? What's the new thing? Do not allow yourself to be pigeonholed or convinced that AI is just content creation. That is not what Palantir and all these companies are building data centers for. They're not doing all of that for content creation. If you don't understand that business, if you're not understanding that you need to be able to stand on your own financially, then I don't know what to tell you. Just look around. You got to be able to stand on your own financially in this world. Hence, this is why the one-person company business model is extremely important and extremely valuable. Do you want these crooked corporations in charge of your life? Do you want these crooked mofos in charge of your family's financial direction, whether you make a paycheck? I just saw a live stream. I think it was from Lisa Cabrera the other day. I think it was Lisa's channel. Now, supposedly, the ICE agent's been working and wasn't even getting paid for a while, even after the shutdown shit. They got bonuses, but now they got to pay them back. All this. Do you want to work for people like that? Do you want your children working for these monsters? Do you want to entrust your future financially into the hands of these people? If you do, so be it. That's your choice. I'm not trying to do that. And if you're anything like me, if you're not trying to leave your well-being and the well-being of your family in the hands of the monsters, you better learn how to stand on your own too when it comes to making money, when it comes to running a business. You better learn. Yeah, the job market is dying. Jobs are disappearing. Money ain't stopping being made though. They don't ever report that. Have you ever seen anybody come on the news? Oh, my homie Smash the Idol just popped up. Smash, what's going on, bro? I appreciate you, man. Peace and love to you too, homie. Have you ever seen anybody come on the news and make a news report that the economy has stopped. Walmart didn't make no money all last week. Delta ain't make no money. Apple didn't make no money. Amazon didn't make no money. Google didn't make any money. Meta didn't make any money. Have you ever seen any news report that said they wasn't making no money? No, but you do hear all the time, oh, the jobs is terrible. The jobs are going away. Yeah, they are going away. But that's not the issue. The issue is what you gonna do about it. Because the people telling you that, they straight. They ain't worried about it. They got millions. They got 6 figures put up. They got high paying jobs. What are you going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? I don't want my children. I have 6 children. My biggest motivation for everything that I do is making sure my babies ain't got to deal with this type of shit too much. That they got options in their lives when they get older. I don't want my family dealing with the monsters if they don't have to. If you want to leave your family's well-being in the hand of the monsters, hey man, that's your choice. And I ain't got no choice but to respect, and I'm gonna respect that. I'm not doing it though. If you think jobs are coming back, whatever you smoking, man, you need to pass that to the left. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you hitting, they got you thinking jobs are coming back. I don't know, man. Shout out to the homie Orlando Minor. Orlando does a lot of really, really good content, man. These companies lay off people by the thousands every other day. Hold on one second, everybody. They lay off people by the thousands every other day. And yet, at the same time, you have people who are willing to entrust their future in the hands of the monsters. Y'all give me 1 second to catch this phone call. Yeah. So I'm not doing it, man. I'm not leaving my financial well-being in the hands of the people that run things. And they can tell you the job's going away and this industry's going down, but they never tell you that nobody is making money. Because people are always making money. So more important than the impact that it's having on the job market, more important than what the circumstance or the economy is doing to that person over there, more important than that is how are you responding to it? How have you positioned yourself? Unless the world ends, unless the Most High end the world, it's not going to go away. There's always dips and climbs. There's always valleys. There's always ebbs and flows, but there's also peaks. And for those of you who are astute in your business game, you know that recessions and depressions is when you get rich. That's when the biggest fortunes get made. Why is that? Ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys. But those people who get rich in those times position themselves. They didn't just sit at the bottom. They didn't just sit in the valley and say, oh, the jobs are going away. They didn't just complain about the environment. They positioned themselves so that when that thing began to swing up like this, they didn't have to spend so much time trying to swim to get back on track. They could ride the wave. I did a video years ago called, I think it was called Surfing the Economy or something like that. I did on Facebook some years ago. And in that video, I used surfing as an analogy to describe how do you play position in business. Too many of us don't understand that positioning is extremely important in business. You cannot ride a wave behind it. You don't see surfers swim out to the ocean, let the wave go past them, and then turn around and try to swim their way back up it and ride it. That's not how you surf. You surf by positioning yourself so that you can ride the wave. The objective is to ride the wave without having to do a whole lot of work to get on top of it. Business is the same way. There are always ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys in this, I don't want to call this shit, Gentile economy, whatever you want to call it, man. There's always ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys. But because you know that, the reason why recessions and depressions are the time that people get rich and build wealth is because if you position yourself properly during the recession, you don't have to work so hard when it starts to go up. You can ride the wave back up. So more important than whatever's going on around you right now, more important than whether you think AI is taking jobs or not, what are you doing about it? How are you positioning yourself? Because like I said, unless the Most High ends the world, it's gonna go back up at some point. Are you in position to ride it, or are you gonna be the surfer on your surfboard behind the trend trying to catch up to it and ride it from the back? That don't work in surfing. From the back is good at sometimes, but not in surfing. You know what I'm saying? That ain't how you get on top. Yo, Smash, what you say? That's right. Speaking of, the homie in the chat said, he brought up how, a lot of our parents told us that we needed to improvise, that we needed to be flexible. And that's one of the things that I was actually just referring to, Smash. I don't know if you heard that, but the technology and being a small business allows you to pivot quickly. It allows you to change gears quickly. If it's just you and your wife or you and your husband running your company and you got to make a major change, it's just two people. If you got 300 people that work for you and you got to make a change, changing 300 people or the way 300 people do things is a lot more complicated than changing the way two people do. So sometimes being a small business works to your advantage, especially when it comes to being able to pivot and to be flexible, like my homie Smash was saying in the chat. You take the flexibility that we have as small businesses, you combine that with the capability that our modern tools give us. And going back to what I said before, if you don't know the term of exponential organization, do some research into that. Find out what an exponential organization is. How do you establish one? Or holler at me. And for those of you who don't know, I also do consulting. But if you don't know what an exponential organization is, you should be learning about these things. As business owners, we have to know about these tools. What business model are you using? Does your business have a business model? Did you build your business off an established business model? Or did you just start doing stuff, exchanging it for money? Because there is a difference. Let me tell you a real story. I just told my lady this the other day. Being an entrepreneur and being a hustler is always a journey, right? It's a journey. It's about growth. And you have to be seeking the knowledge and the information way more than it just, comes to you magically or because people like you, right? You got to go seek this information. But I will tell you guys this. Do you know it was maybe about 3 years ago? I'm 46, so roughly about 42, 43. I learned the difference between a business and a company. Do you know the difference between having a business and running a company? I did not say the title of this presentation is not one person business, it's one person company. Do you know the difference between a business and a company? No shade, no shame, no salt being thrown, because I just admitted I just found out the difference about 3 years ago. But that one tidbit of information totally revolutionized how I hustle and how I go about making money and building things for my family. But for most of my life, I was just out here going hard, hustling, thinking it's about how much money you can make. And that's called a business. Now, that might be called a business, but that's not how you run a company. And companies is where you build wealth. Just to give you a little heads up about the difference. A business don't mean you build any wealth. When you own a company, there's wealth being built on the side of that as well, right? So if on your path as an entrepreneur, as a hustler, if you aren't challenging yourself, if you aren't learning about what's out there, or if you aren't constantly, what does scripture say? If you aren't seeking knowledge like hidden treasure, you ain't gonna keep up, man. This stuff moves fast, yo. And again, as I said in the outset, people do not change though. Customers don't change. Entrepreneurs don't change. Most of us as entrepreneurs get into it. We see a need. We think people will pay us to fill that need, and we fill it. Sometimes it's because you was doing something else. Maybe you was working for someone and y'all kept having a problem. You always needed somebody to do this one particular thing, and there was never nobody to do it. And you was like, that's a business. I could go around and be that guy for every other business that does this type of thing. And that's how some people get started. That's fine. That's doing business, but that is not running a company. Do you know the difference? Do you have a business model? Do you know different business model? Have you found one? Are you applying it? These are the type of questions that we must be asking ourselves, because otherwise, y'all, I'm just being real, man. I'm not even trying to be a jerk or an asshole about it. I'm just being honest. If you don't keep up, you won't be in business much longer, yo. This stuff moves at a pace that it is going to filter out the weakest among us. Not the best barber. The barber who don't adapt the fastest. Not the best mobile detailing service. The one that don't adapt the fastest. Not the best restaurant, not the best winery, not the best pet sitter, whatever your business is, not the best. Whichever one of us do not adapt and do not learn how to maximize the use of these and other tools, we gonna want to be the ones that lose. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just what it is. You have to, like as I said earlier, we're at a place in time in business. This stuff is not an option. I know it seems like an option. I know it seems like you got a choice whether you use the tech or not, but you do not. Those of you who are sitting back thinking and stalling about whether you should or shouldn't, there are people in your industry that have already chosen and decided that they should. That means you're already at the back of the line. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Right? So what a one-person company actually is. Let's talk about the core structure. Hold on one second. Let me read my chat for a second. You said owning a business don't mean you making money, and that's so true. It's good to own a business, but some businesses have a whole 9 to 5. It's called grind. It's a mindset, not cash flow. That is 100% exactly right. One of the biggest differences between a business and a company is your mindset. You have to shift your mindset. I'll give you a perfect example. Some of you all may be familiar with the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Right? You got the 4 quadrants of cash flow, how you make money. You have an employee, you have a self-employed person, you have a business owner, and you have an investor, the ESBI. When you're an employee and you want to go into working for yourself, the mentality that you have as an employee is not the mentality that you can afford to have when you're working for yourself. So that requires a shift in your mindset. But when you work for yourself and you move into becoming the business owner, that mindset doesn't necessarily work over there in the business owner section either. You have to shift your mindset again. So what Smash was saying is exactly what happens to a lot of people. We have a business, we self-employed, we cut hair, we do lawn care, whatever the case may be, right? and we have a business, meaning we're exchanging products and goods. Products and services for money, right? That's what business is. But because you don't shift the mindset from being a self-employed person to being a business owner, you never actually become a business. You just become a self-employed person. And we call that a business. And not that it isn't, because it's doing business functions, right? It's exchanging something for money. That is the essential function of a business, but it is not a company. So at every phase of development, to go from a business owner to being able to live and sustain and, generate generational wealth as an investor, which is at the top of that board, which is ideally where you want to get to, that takes a different mind shift from being the business owner to the investor, right? So as you go through all these different phases of your journey as a hustler or making money as a business owner, at all these various stages, you are going to have to shift your mindset. We are at a place in time in our lives in the world, we got to shift our mindsets as a whole about how do you survive in this world. And again, if you want to entrust your future to the monsters, be my guest. Ain't my suggestion though. So what a one person company actually is it's one decision maker at the center of an AI powered system, right? It's one person at the center of an automated business system. Tools replace roles. Instead of an administrative assistant, you have an AI that handles your task for the day. Instead of a person that handles your content creation and posting, you have an AI that schedules, plans, and posts the content for you. You can even have it generate the content for you if you like. And I do, those of you all who know my channel, I do AI generated content. I use AI for content sometimes. But I never want to take away this. I never want to take away the human touch, because to me, as a business, I never want to lose that human touch. That's what I enjoy about being in business. I enjoy the interaction with people the most. So I don't ever want to lose that in my business. But because of these tools, instead of having to have a team member or that role in my business, you just have a tool. Instead of an HR department, you have an HR workflow. Instead of a marketing department, you have a marketing workflow. That means you, the person, focus on strategy that's governing the direction and the priorities of the company, quality control, making sure that everything you put out, every service you provide, every product you come up with meets quality standards. You're putting out valuable goods to people, quality control, managing client relationships, building trust and understanding needs. And again, yes, the AI and the tools can do a lot, but they don't do all of that for you. They can help, but it still takes a person to trust another person. Excuse me. People do business with you or with your company. They're not doing business with the AI, they're doing business with you. When people do business with Maya Solutions, they're not doing business with Insurgent. They're not doing business with my apps. They're doing business with Mike. Right? So you still have to have that human element. There's no need to think that you don't have to hire people. This just gives you the opportunity that you can. Now you can be the person that provides opportunities for people. And it may not be the traditional thing. You can hire your niece, nephew, your little neighbor, somebody that you know like being on social media. Let them generate and produce and edit your social media content for you. You don't need a whole marketing department. But now, what that person can do, you can amplify that production like you had a whole department. So it's not that you got to look at these tools like they're going to eliminate people, like they're a threat to people, how are you going to use it? How are you going to use it to position yourself in this crazy ass world? I mean, you can try it without it, but again, if you're not able to keep up with modern business, you won't be around much longer in 2026. You can take the warning or not. No, don't shoot the messenger. Also, in a one-person company, you get to focus on outcome, the end result. Why is that important? This goes directly back to quality control and client relationships. How important is putting out a good quality product or service in business? Whatever your business is, if you're a barber, if you do lawn care, if you cook pastrami sandwiches for Subway workers in New York, whatever you do, how important is it that you put out a quality product or service? If you don't put out quality work, will you continue to have a business much longer, you think? What about your client relationships? How important are client relationships in business? How important is it that you maintain a good relationship with the people who allow you to be a business? How important is that? All of this ties into that last thing at the bottom, which again, on your screen is blocking it, but outcome ownership. The more control you have in the overall outcome, that means you can put out the best quality product. You can maintain the best relationship. You can give your clients that personal one-on-one service that another person who doesn't have your time and availability, they can't do that. They're not in a position to, because they stuck doing everything themselves. But because you modeled your business off of a successful business model, you've alleviated that for yourself. What would that do for your business? And again, don't limit yourself to how you can use these tools, because unless you're intimately familiar with tech, you have no idea what's all out here and how you can use it. I promise you. I'm in the world of it, and I don't know all the tools out there. I'm constantly finding new things and new ways I can do things using different tools or whatnot. So don't limit what you can do or how you can use any of the modern tools in your business. You just need to be using them. Facts. You just need to be using them. Would you say, Smash? What I'm starting to realize is you have to identify when you're sharp, is morning or night, and lock that down for revenue generating tasks. That's true, man. I'm gonna tell you another thing too. I do this a lot. I rest during the day. Like, I'm usually up pretty early. Most days I'm up by 6:30. Sometimes I'm up a little before that, a little after that. But most days I'm up by about 6:30. And depending on when I get started or how eager I am to get started for the day, man, by lunchtime, by noon, bro, I've been and did so much between that time and noon that I need to take a break, right? So I'll usually take a break. I actually lay down. I rarely actually go to sleep, but I'll go lay down. As they say in Spanish, I take a little siesta in the middle of the day. And then I may come back to work for another 2 or 3 hours later that evening and wrap some things up, maybe have a consultation with somebody. But my mind, even though I'm physically tired, by this time in the evening, like today, I've had a full day. I've been working all day. But because I take those 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the day, sometimes 3 hours, usually about 2, and just chill, man. Play games, read, go for a walk, whatever I'm gonna do, just chill, relax, put my feet up. When I do come back to finish off the task every day in the evening, my mind is still pretty sharp. So I've learned the value of balancing when I try to tackle certain tasks. If I wait until too late in the evening, like right now, if I was to try to do anything that required too much coding or too much really, really tedious strategic thinking, it ain't gonna go well because I'm tired at this point, right? So the point that you're making is absolutely right. Sometimes when you do a task is almost as important or maybe even more important than how you do the task. Right? So that's another thing too. And again, because I work in tech, one of the things that I really, 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 really hope to do is dispel some of the fear that I see people have about technology and how to use it, right? Again, like I said, I'm not one of those people that are gonna sit here and tell you that technology isn't taking jobs, that some people aren't going to lose their jobs because of it, because it's already happening. But more importantly than that is, how do you respond to it? If they get rid of all the trash truck driver jobs, okay, cool. What you gonna do now? You're gonna have to adapt regardless. If your city go broke and they can't pay you and you a firefighter, or they can't pay you and you some other city employee, what you gonna do? Regardless of why you come up against a challenge in your life, you gonna face challenges. The tech one ain't nothing but another challenge. What you gonna do about it though? How are you going to respond to the challenge? That's the question. That's the determining factor, not the challenge. Not the challenge. How do you respond to it? I give you example. I told my girl, we were talking the other day, and I was like, if you jump in the water and you wrong, it may or may not matter. If you wrong about that being a shark or a dolphin, it might mean something if you jump in the water. It might be important to know whether that's a shark or a dolphin, right? But let's say you know it's a shark and you decide to jump anyway. Well, it's still important to know which shark it is. Is that a little nurse shark or is that a great white shark? The point that I'm making is, what we know about a situation is what will help us determine how to respond to it. The way you respond to being in the water with a great white is not the way you respond to being in the water with a nurse shark. The way you respond to a shark being in the water versus a dolphin being in the water is not the same. So regardless of the scenario, at the end of the day, our response to a situation, to a circumstance, is the determining factor. You can't do anything about the technology changing things. It's already changed everything. It's going to continue to change things. But how do you respond to it? I came up with this idea for this because I literally just shared this to a video on this topic with a client of mine the other day who had an idea for a project. And I sent her a video I had found on YouTube about what a one-person company actually is, right? Because her project idea is essentially that. And I thought about it. I was like, so many people of our people, they don't know about one-person companies. Let me do it. Let me break this down so I can show people, or at least attempt to show people, what a one-person company is and why you should know about it. You should know about it. If you're in business for yourself, you should, even if you can't use a one-person business model because you are already, functioning or whatever, you're already there. But at least you can learn some lessons. Study exponential organizations. Learn about tokenizing real world assets. Why is that important? Do you own any intellectual property? Do you own any copyrights, any trademarks? Do you know how to tokenize those things? Do you know why you should probably tokenize your assets? There are so many aspects to the way technology has created opportunities for us. I don't want my people to be going around being afraid of it. There's way more opportunity in it than it is for you to fear. At the end of the day, there's nothing for you to fear. Just determine how you're going to respond in the circumstances. That's what matters. How do you respond? So that was part of why I actually came up with this outline smash, because I really wanted people, my people in particular, to realize, hey, there are tools out there. There are options out there. You should be looking into them. You should know about some of these things. And because I'm not one of those people who just gonna tell you about it, I'm gonna come show you about it a little bit. And if you need to, you can get in touch with me and holler at me, and we can talk about it one-on-one and even put some stuff together for you if that's what you so choose. But I at least want y'all to know. You can literally run $1 billion company by yourself in 2026. Not exaggerating, it's being done already. You can build an 8-figure business, sell that as a company to someone in 6 months. It's already being done. I need my people to catch up. And not only just my people, all of us as the people in this country. If you FBA or not, if you identify something else, that's fine. Are you one of the monsters that we see? Are you an Epstein type person? You one of them kind of monsters? Because if you're not one of them kind of monsters, I consider you more of my type people than them. So regardless of your ethnic background or anything like that, hey man, you want to take a stand against the monsters? Because I want to take a stand against the monsters. I don't like them. You know what I'm saying? This is one way we can take a stand against the monsters. Stop depending on them. They still making money. Why you not still making money? They not worried about no jobs. Why you worried about a job? And that's just my take on it. And I hope that's not offensive to anyone. That's not to put anyone down who has a regular job, a W-2 job. That's no smite or smack to you in any sort of way. I'm a hustler though, man. I've been a hustler since I was a little kid, walking around from house to house trying to rake my neighbor's leaves every fall and cut their grass every spring and summer on top of the allowance I got from my dad. I'm a hustler, man. You get what I'm saying? So on my channel, I speak to, and I'm looking to speak to people who think like I do. And one thing about being a hustler, man, you can't be scared. You know the saying, scared money don't make no money. This ain't the time to be scared. It's time to be bold. Everybody's not going broke in 2026. Yes, people are still buying homes for the first time in 2026. Yes, people are still buying luxury automobiles in 2026. The Ferrari market is crazy right now. Porsche is ramping up. We're gonna see what happened with the GT3 RS, GT2 RS market. We're gonna see what happened. But Porsche is acting up too. You're talking about $300,000 and $400,000 cars. They still being sold. Rolls-Royce ain't lost no sales, man. Bugatti's prices still going up. So why are you worried about it? The monsters ain't worried about it. And it's not because they're monsters. It's because they understand how things actually work in the business world. How money actually works. How you build an installation. care so much about what other people doing. That's what it is. And for me, that's what it is. Legit hustle, man. That's what I'm about. I'm trying to put people game to the people who choose to take advantage of my services. But regardless of whether you ever become a client of mine, if you just watch the content, hey man, this ain't no time to be scared, y'all. This is a time to be bold. This is the time to take action. This is not the time to be afraid. So I ain't got no fear in me about what's going on economically. I ain't studying it. Right? Because unless the most high in the world, it's some bread to be made out there. And I'm going to figure out a way to dip a basket into it a little bit. Regardless. So, anywho, how long I've been on here? I've been on here almost an hour and a half just running my goddamn mouth. I ain't talked about none of the presentation. I'm a terrible YouTuber. Nah, I'm playing though. Nah, this is what it really is, man. Like, for anybody that sees this, I hope you ain't expecting me to go over the presentation a whole lot on the screen. I make them available for everybody. The presentations will always be available for anybody that wants one on my website. And as soon as I find a little thing to play so y'all can see the website, you'll see, yeah, I can't find it. But anywho, yes, it will always be available on my website. So if you like this presentation, you can go to legit-hustle.com, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You go to my site, all the slideshow presentations that I use on SMB Podcast and Legit Motivation, they are always available for free. So this one is available now. I think I published it. So it should be available on the site now. So you can go through this entire presentation yourself without me yapping through it and talking about all the side shit that I be saying. If you ever want to just check out the presentation on your own, man, just go to legithustle.com, man, and you can grab one of those presentations. So yeah, man, anyway, I done forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, why a one-person company, what a one-person company actually is. And I'm serious, yo. I actually really am passionate about this when it comes to getting certain information to the people because we need it. Right? So I take it actually pretty serious. Even though I enjoy doing this and I have fun about it, I am passionate about it. And we do, y'all. We gotta take business, we gotta take wealth. We have to start taking this stuff seriously. We can't just keep talking about what we need to do as a people and the discrepancies between black wealth and white. We can't keep talking about it. Right? We got to do something about it. And for those of us who find ways, find avenues to help people do something about it, that's what we're supposed to be doing. So that's what I do this for, man. If I find a way to help you get out the rat race, if I find a way to help you get free of the system, hey, man, I'm going to throw you the keys. You know, I'm that type of person. So this is my contribution to the people to help you get free. I just throw y'all some keys sometimes. I try to make it look cute with the little presentations and stuff. I come on here with my sunglasses on. Hey, guess what? I actually figured out why people be wearing sunglasses. This is why I started wearing the glasses. Because these bright ass lights, man. Like, before I started live streaming, right, I really didn't realize why so many people wore sunglasses when they would go live until I got up here and tried to be here for 30, 45 minutes. And I got this bright LED shining in my face. It started hurting my eyes. So I was like, dang. All right, so I ain't just trying to look cool. It actually helps me read everything without straining my eyes so much with this bright ass light in my face. So anywho, I come on here, man. I be trying to look cool. But I really do, man. I actually really do care. That's why I make everything available for y'all for free, man. So, you know, if you ever want to check out any of the presentations that I do, they're always going to be available on legithustle.com. He said they didn't pick one of us. They came for us all. Exactly, Smash. Listen, man, these people don't care. At the end of the day, we already know. You know, one thing about racism and white supremacy, it masquerades around very well like it cares about its own people, but it don't. They don't even care about their own people. And I'm talking about when it comes to your race, your ethnicity. The people in power don't care. So at the end of the day, it's always going to be us versus them as long as it's a them on this planet to worry about. They don't care about any of us. Unfortunately, for too many of our Caucasian American counterparts, I think they just now starting to realize that people don't give a fuck about them. Right? They'll use you, shoot you in the street. They don't care about you no more than they cared about us. So I think they starting to realize that, you know, it ain't what you thought it was either. You know, we've been knew that, of course, but I think they're just starting to, a lot of people from outside of FBA, outside of Black America, just starting to realize, you know, people don't care about you either. And what they're doing economically and what they're doing with all their political manipulation and their little weird games, they have an impact on all us, man. On all us. The man up in the office got a different war about to pop off every time you turn around. They blowing up people on boats. They shooting white people and white women in the face in Minneapolis. I ain't laughing about it, man, but they just wilding out. They ain't picking and choosing, bro. They thugging. They thugging it out. On our end, we got to not give as much as a fuck as they don't. You don't have to be immoral and you don't have to be corrupt, but man, you better handle your business, man. These people don't care. What you say, bro? The epitome. Not only are they the epitome. Oh, well, let me not say it. I was about to say something. Never mind. I'll leave that for the private conversation. But yes, they are the epitome of dog eat dog. Fucking filthy people, man. Yo, I couldn't imagine. I'm so grateful every day that I don't have to go work for nobody like that, man. I ain't gotta go clock in at these people's jobs and shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to work with no weirdos. I couldn't do it, bro. I'm not that type of guy. I couldn't work around no people in that type of time, bro. I just, you know, I've been handled it a different way. Real shit. But I'm so glad I ain't even got to be around them people, man. They got so much going on. I'm glad I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? FBA, we over here. We gonna let them stay over there and do their weird stuff, man. Because these folks is out of control, bro. But I'll really, really, really enjoy seeing when more of us, when us as a whole, don't need them people. And we can do it. We can do it. We can build the infrastructure we need. Doesn't have to be an armed rebellion. Nah, we can just keep delineating and keep letting them folks have what they got going on over there. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, we also have to be building what we need as a people, what we need as a community. We have to build that because we can't get it from them. They don't even, that's part of how I ended up doing this. I know I'm getting close to, it's about time to smoke again and shit. It's about that time. I'm gonna wrap this up in a minute. But but for real though, man, like that's actually how I kind of got caught up in tech the way I did, bro. Like I just don't want to be dependent on these people, man. I could have took my skills and my capability, and I've worked for other companies and I've done well at times, but I'm not the corporate dude. I'm not the dude in the office that can bite my tongue. I ain't gonna kiss your ass. I don't care if you're the president or the lost 14th apostle, man. I don't care who you are. Like it's gonna be the same energy with me. So I don't really fit that corporate world. I'm too edgy for them. They be nervous around me. I ain't got to worry about them now. You know, I can still be techie. I can still build tools and develop things and come up with new ideas and build my own apps and platforms and sell them. I can still do all that cool shit. And I ain't got to worry about them people, man. You know what I'm saying? And I want my people to realize that the same is true for all of you. You don't have to be out here building software, but do you know how to use the tools at your disposal to get free of these weirdos? Because you can do it, I promise you. A lot of us have done it. And so I'm looking to help more people get free of the weirdos, man. That's what it's about. Yeah. Like these folks is out of control, man. Let me see if I'm gonna get how far I'm gonna get through this. Man, I'm barely halfway through this presentation. This is almost 2 hours. This might be about the longest live I think I did. I don't know if I did it live. It was an hour and a half. Anyhow, I'm gonna rock out for a little bit longer because I'm having fun. Smash, you having a good time, bro. I hope you enjoyed it, man. But so what happened? What made this shift possible? Let's get back on this topic. Like I said, I know I'm a terrible YouTuber, y'all. I'm gonna get better. But what made this possible? Model capability, right? And you don't even have to know too much about what models it's talking about. Just the capability. Whether it be language models, whether it be processor design, the speed, the small size of processors now, whatever it may be, right? You have these tools that can handle context, structure, and multiple steps. And this presentation is specifically kind of pointed at AI, but you don't even really have to incorporate AI to take advantage of this. In most of my systems that I build, I use very little AI in the actual build, in the actual system. I use very little AI in it, in the custom stuff. I do have some stuff that use a lot of AI, but for the custom stuff that I build, for the most part, it don't really have no AI in it. Like the triggers that trigger automations might be, you clicking a button on the interface, or somebody filling out a form that triggers the automation, So it doesn't even have to be AI based. That's why I'm kind of dancing around the AI part under model capability, because I think people think all the tools are about AI, and it's not all about AI. AI is just one of the tools. It's just one. It's just one capability that you can use. Just one. But you don't even have to use AI to still benefit from what I'm talking about. You don't even have to incorporate it. You would be wise to, but you don't have to. That's right. I appreciate you, Smash. So, action oriented, like I said, I have things that trigger when people fill out forms. Like when you go to Legit Hustle to download a presentation, right? You click download this presentation. It's going to take you to a form. That form, when you fill out that form, it's going to hit my database, which is going to trigger an automation, which is going to get your email address and send you that presentation. There's no AI involved. Right. There's no language models. There's no machine learning going on. It's just a simple automated process. But because of that, I feel like that allows me to give a lot of value to my viewers and my subscribers. You don't just get this information when you pull up with me or you watch the video. Nah, man, you can have it on your phone. You can read over it on your lunch break tomorrow, without my handsome face in the corner flirting. Whatever I'm doing. Anywho, so what I'm saying is, overall, I'm finna wrap this up, man. Again, if you don't know, you should know by now. You can always get a copy of these presentations at legithustle.com. So just because I don't go through the entire thing, you don't have to miss out, man. Go to the website, get a free copy of it, and go over it at your own pace. But there's a lot of information in here, man. If you're serious about your business, if you're serious about your hustle, it's your homie, Legit Hustle, man. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you out and point the way if I can and offer assistance in any way that I can. You know what I'm saying? For a small fee, of course. But anyway, man, yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. Smash, man, I'm tired. Plus, it's about that time again. I need to grab something to eat. So I enjoyed it, man. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Again, please, please, please grab a copy of this presentation, yo. You know what I mean? Like, definitely grab a copy of this presentation. And there's another one that's available on the site, the FBA Liberation presentation. If you did not see that, definitely grab the FBA Liberation presentation. I don't just talk, man. When I put presentations together, I always try to put actionable steps inside the presentation. Smash, you know that. When I do my presentations, I don't just want to come up here and just talk at people. I want to bring legitimate value to my subscribers. I want to bring legitimate value to the people who take time out of their day to watch my content. You know what I'm saying? So I do things like that to make sure that you all can get the most from it. So please take advantage of it. If you don't get any of the other ones, definitely the one person company presentation out, and also check out FBA Liberation, that presentation. Some really, really powerful tidbits in there for all of us. And even if you're not FBA, if you're serious about your hustle, man, I don't discriminate. And for anybody, I don't want anybody to think that, there's a lot of talk out there about what FBA and what FBA is and what FBA isn't. I don't want anybody to think that you're not welcome on Legit Hustle. I don't care who you are. You're always welcome on Legit Hustle. But I love my people. That's who we are. That's what it is. Delineation is what it's about. And I'm riding full scale, full speed ahead when it comes to my people. I'm riding, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, but it ain't no hate. It ain't no discrimination. The content's for everybody. You can be, hopefully no tethers downloaded, but technically you can be a tether and still get it. I mean, there ain't nothing to stop you from getting it too. Everybody can get it is what I'm saying. Everybody can get it, you know? So that's what it is, man. I appreciate it. Smash, thank you for hanging out with me again, Brody. Y'all stay tuned. I got some really, really cool things coming up. Again, I do have an event coming up this month. I don't remember the exact dates. I can't remember them offhand. I don't want to lie. So I know first coming up will be the chaos audit. The chaos audit is more for people who are maybe not necessarily new to business, but you don't have a lot of automations and stuff going on. You don't have a lot of tech integrated into your business at this point. You might just be looking for ways that you can incorporate some of this stuff into your business. Then the chaos audit is for you. It's for people just starting out, whether it's starting out in business or just starting out with automations and AI. This is the session for you, the chaos audit. So I have one of those coming up this month. But I also have another one called the Ghost in the Machine. And the Ghost in the Machine is a little more advanced. The Ghost in the Machine is for people who are already in business, who already have some tools and integrations going on. Maybe one, maybe a lot, it doesn't matter, but you're already actively using tech. The Ghost in the Machine presentation is for you, because one of the things that people often do is they have too many tools and they wonder why the business ain't functioning well, because you got 30 tools and none of them work well together. And that's what's called the Ghost in the Machine. So that's what that presentation is about. It's about eliminating gaps, leakages in your workflows and your processes and your tech tools, what we call your tech stack. So if you're a little more solidified in business and you got some things going on with tech already, then the Ghost in the Machine presentation is the one for you. And also, in case you all don't know, I talk about it sometimes, but I also have my own business platform. It's called Insurgent OS, Insurgent Operating System. So it handles everything from CRM, customer client relationship management, to advertising, marketing automations, reputation management. We pretty much automate everything you do. A lot of other things. Plus I have some proprietary elements to it as far as education and training goes on my platform, and Insurgent is mine. I've been developing it for over 5 years now, and I just actually launched it in January of this year. So that's my platform, Insurgent. It also has a YouTube channel, Insurgent OS on YouTube. That's my platform, Insurgent. So for those of you all who want to learn a little bit more about tech, how you can do some really, really cool stuff with it, man, I'm your guy. It's me, your homie, your brother from another mother, the one and only, Mr. Legit Hustle. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna call this an evening, and I'm gonna get ready to enjoy myself. I gotta read this last comment, which say smash. Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, check this out. That is a compliment right there. If you have made or seen any progress in what you do from the tips that I provide, hey man, don't even worry about the website as long as it's actually helping you. That's what it's about. So I appreciate that, man. That just made my evening. That's gonna make this. I don't know what that was. I don't know what kind of herb that is, but it's gonna make it taste a little bit better because I'm finna fire it up to a compliment. But I appreciate you though, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And I don't want to end on nothing sad, so I think we'll close it out with we'll do 2 songs, man. We'll do 2 songs, Smash. All right. And y'all, I appreciate it, man. Definitely check out the presentation. Go to events.emiasolutions.net if you want to find out more about my events when I have them, how you can attend. Yeah, man, subscribe and come kick with your homies sometimes. I'm about to go put up on some other people's channels. I know some of the bros going live tonight. I think Black Alpha got a live coming up and some other people. So I'm about to go pull up in the chat with the fam, man, and do my FBA thing. I love you. Love everybody, man. Hey, that's what's up. See, Smash said he smoked with me. I love when I know people watching me and firing up. Because look, I be sitting here holding stuff the whole time, bro. I be wanting to fire up on camera so often, but I don't really know how the algorithm do about people smoking. I don't really care though. But yeah, I love to know people smoking when I'm kicking it. That's how we kick it. We talk business, we do grown man shit, and we still enjoy ourselves while we doing it. You feel me? It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. Balance and moderation mean a lot. So, and I do too much. I can't be too high to do what I gotta do. So, but I do enjoy smoking some good herb. And that's what I'm about to do, man. And that's how we're gonna close out. So we're gonna go and close out. I think we'll rock out with Victory. And then maybe another song. Oh, cinnamon milk? I don't think I had no cinnamon milk. I might have to try that. Anywho, this is me, man. It's your homie, Legit Hustle. Y'all know my motto, man. Hustle smarter. I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.
Truth be told, every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit. Don't you give up on your dream. I don't care if you don't have the money, you don't have the help, and you don't have the family for it, and you don't have the background for it, and you don't have the friends for it. Don't you give up on your dream. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
In a world for growing up on stomach pains, trying to make it over puddles and avoid the dirty stains of the streets where the rain drinks more than just your pain, and everything you have to lose is everything you have to gain. It's a battle for your mind, for your soul, for your time. Either stay down in the mud or jump back up, get on the grind, trying to catch up in a race where you started from behind. So removed from the lead that you can't even see the line. And the ones who say they love you, the same ones who hold their hand from extending you the kindness that you needed to withstand. The same ones walking blindly with contempt for fellow man. They don't lose a wink of sleep even when they leave you stranded. Fuck them all, but just stand tall. Never mind if you fall. Every hustler takes an L. Without those, you can't ball. It's a dirty, dirty dance. Roll the dice, take that chance. Gotta tighten up your pants to stay a victim of circumstance. Opportunity comes at a glance. Get to stepping like a band. If it's school, rap and dance, it don't matter. Get your band to the sky up if it takes that to help you feel fly. Who am I to tell you not to when I'd rather see you try? It's a blackout to America, so I'm forced to make these choices. Ramen noodles or the bills while others riding in Rolls Royce. And then claim to be their leaders. Whole time ignore their voices. Time to pay us what you owe us. These are just your first invoice. I suggest you pay them quickly. We are not that good at waiting. We have been too fucking patient. U.S. government is Satan, and the victory was ours. You can quit the time wasting and the stalling, cause it's time Babylon should get to falling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think by now we all know who the enemy is, right? And we all see who the enemy is, right? You know what I'm saying? Alright, so it's not a person working next to the job. Probably ain't the person that lives down the street from you. Not to say it ain't some weirdos in all these places that need to get addressed, need to get dealt with. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. We got a unique situation with my kid, when your kid, when they look back at our generation, what they gonna see? What they gonna see? A whole bunch of coulda, woulda, shoulda ass motherfuckers? Or they gonna look back and say, hey, I'm on my daddy's part of that generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I come from that. One more thing I forgot to mention. If you listen, I hope you listening. We cannot ignore our kitchen, cause it's full of dirty dishes. We need mothers to be mothers, so our children can be children. We need fathers to be fathers, lead them right and give them wisdom, so our dreams can be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Whether Muslim, Jew, or Christian, don't just talk it, you should live it. So I'm asking you, what would you do if on you this depended? For our dreams to be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Figure it out.
Legit hustle. Legit hustle. Go get him, Uncle Mike.
Yeah, it's like take number 4 or some shit like
Go get him,
that.
Uncle Mike.
Man, I'm just finna spit this shit. Try to keep in mind where I'm supposed to stop. It's gonna come out how it come out, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Ever move such a pace, you change your time, space, and place. Disappear without a trace. Reappear to show your face. Only time to time, cause the bottom line, you only got the time to make. Foot on the gas, don't touch the brake. Fuck if I crash. State to state, most times blessings, that's your grace. Lots at stake, watch for mistakes. Treat obstacles like they steak. Heavyweight, then clean your plate, even if you ate already. Grown man shit gets heavy. War in the streets is really up, so lock and load and aim steady. You a hustler, time to prove it. You a gangster, who you move with. Better keep an extra toolkit. Pray to God to never use it. Just a clue for all the clueless. Playing dumb, but don't be stupid. Like Steph Curry off the dribble. I don't even gotta look when I shoot it. Just a warning for the busters and an anthem for the hustlers. Next time you fold your bundles, just remember, hustle told you. Keep your drip right, yeah, that's Nova. Keep your coat as cold, that's Polar. Put that hustle over your shoulder. Carry that bitch till it's over. Yeah. It's legit hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers only. If you out here grinding, pushing, getting it on your own, trying to build something for yourself and your family, I'm talking to you. Yeah. So what you took an L? Everybody fall down sometimes, man. Get up, shake that shit off. Keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You a hustler. If he gave up, it wasn't me. Not in a hustler's pedigree. I knew the path that I had chosen wasn't free, nor should it be. A real leader's gonna stand up, give his friends a helping hand up. If he get one, then he got one. From the Lambo to the Phantom, only if it's just legit. All 366, he only swing for the fence. Legit hustlers never miss. Belt the ass, I got a list. Rub me wrong, you get your itch. Pop out, I hope you got a wish. Like the genie in this bitch. Hustlers and suck, never mix. Real is real, so don't forget. That is that and this is this. On the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? You dig? Yeah. That is that and this is this. It's on the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? Yeah, like I said, man, it's legit hustle. Tales of a Hustler 3. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers, man. The go-getters. You know, people out there getting it on their own. Yeah. If that's you, welcome. Tales of a Hustler 3. Here's your homie, Legit Hustle.
Yeah, man. Speaking for the hustlers, man. No matter where you came from, you can be from the streets, you can be Ivy League, you can be a stockbroker, man. You can be just a regular dude, man, selling fruit on the corner. I don't care, man. If you're a hustler, you know you're a hustler. It's in you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you. Yeah.